You're listening to the Dramatic Show podcast.
Yo, Los P. Yo, Los P. What's good, man? Welcome to the Dramatic Show podcast. Just want to hit you up for a little bit, talk to you a little bit, man.
Sounds good. Let's get it.
Let's do it, man. So moving dolo tonight, man. So I said I can't really be talking to myself. So I said, let me hit up Los P, man. I know we got something scheduled for our Friday night hype series, man, but I just want to talk to you a little bit quicker. What you been up to?
Oh man, getting things in order, man. Building this brand up,
As
money
usual.
behind us.
As usual, man. Looking forward to some good things this week, man. Got some business meetings coming up, man. So I'm gonna definitely let you know what's going on with that. But yo, Lowe's, I want to talk to you about this 50 greatest rappers list, man. That's just been moving through Twitter.
Oh man, I seen that. It's crazy.
Yo, so for
I hope it's not in order either.
So yeah, this is actually the order. So for people that don't know what we're talking about, it's actually a list on Twitter with the top 50 greatest rappers of all time. And they got Jay-Z listed as number 1, which is, somewhat debatable. Then they got Nas as number 2. But this is the thing that's really got Twitter buzzing. For number 3 greatest rapper of all time, they actually got Joe Budden listed as the great 3rd best rapper of all time. 4th, they got Styles P, and then 5th, they got Black Thought. Los, what you think about that 3rd spot, man? Does Joe Budden, does he actually take that number 3 spot?
I mean, I feel like whoever made that list should find the nearest breeze and nosedive off of it.
Just kill themselves, right?
There's no way that man should be number 3.
I mean,
he should not be number 3.
Joe,
to be honest with you, he seemed to make the whole list. He's a great artist. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, you don't think he should have at least made top 10?
Top 10? Nah, because you got to think. How many members in Wu-Tang?
I don't know, man.
Original members.
It was like anywhere between 8 to 12
He's
or something
not fucking with none of them.
So you don't think he's you don't think he's a better rapper than RZA?
Oh hell no! Come on now, RZA?
Yeah,
like no, he can't even fuck ODB.
Yo, you don't think he could touch ODB?
No. All the members of Wu-Tang were ill. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I listened to Joe Budden before, but he definitely shouldn't be on that list, man. I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's so many artists ahead of him. I don't think he should be on the top 50, to be honest.
Oh wow, that was huge, man, for you to say.
I mean, he didn't do enough for hip hop, man.
You don't think he put enough of his footprint down on hip hop?
He didn't do really. Nah, cause he was nice. I don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite songs is 10 Minutes. By him. But not top 50 though. You know what I'm saying? It's way too many pioneers in the game, man, for him to be, up there, man.
What about, were you a fan of Slaughterhouse?
Who?
Slaughterhouse.
Oh yeah. Like Roster 5'9" Eminem? Oh yeah, definitely. They had heavy hitters. You know what I'm saying? Like Eminem should definitely be on the list. Like, I mean, was he on the list?
I don't really have it in front of me right now, but I'm actually looking at I can actually give you the top 10 though. Again, Jay-Z number 1, Nas number 2, Joe Budden number 3, Styles P number 4, Black Thought number 5, 6 is Fabulous, 7 is Jadakiss, 8 is Biggie, 9 is Ghostface, and 10 is actually Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Whoever did that list, I don't know. They're not really hip hop fans. Like all the names you named are, like I said, I listen to their music, but that list is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Biggie is what, 8?
Yeah, he actually got Biggie as number 8.
I mean, come on. Oh no, see, yeah, they were drunk or high or something, or somebody that just doesn't know hip hop and just made up a list. They started grabbing random names or something. But yeah, that's not correct.
So, who would you put as number 1?
I mean, I put Nas. Like, I mean, that just. I mean, if you just go back to Illmatic, I mean, he changed the game. Like, I mean, come on now, like, ain't too many people really touching Escobar, man.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. I don't really argue with that. You know, Nas is definitely in my top 5 for sure. He don't even have my man DMX on like top 5, so I'm a little bit biased towards that. I would definitely put DMX in top 5.
Like, come on now, DMX. Yeah, he the only person to drop 2 platinum albums in a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You know, yeah, that's crazy.
What do you think about Kendrick Lamar? You think he should be in top 10?
No, definitely not. He's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I like him, but I mean, like I said, man, you gotta look at the people that we were raised on. You know what I'm saying? Coming up in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
All right.
Then you got people like KRS-One. We forgetting about them before our era, like KRS-One,
Rakim. Exactly.
Where they at?
Exactly. And now for actually that list, I actually got a little bit.
He was my man before.
Who was your man?
Yeah, Rakim. Nas was. I feel like he's the second coming up, Rakim.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure. You feel like Nas won that battle? You feel like Nas won that battle with Jay-Z?
With Jay?
Yeah.
Come on now, easily.
I don't know, man. I don't know about easily though. I don't know about
Jay
easily.
came hard, but I mean, Nas just did something like I don't know, man. He just said even got yourself a gun, like all you the man, like those songs are like crazy, man.
Yeah, Still Mad it was definitely a classic.
He put a song backwards. He put a song backwards, man. Who does that?
Exactly. Yo, we definitely gotta talk about the Lost Tapes, man. When we next time we get up for a hype series, man, we definitely gotta talk about the Lost Tapes, man. That's like a really, really cool album. So we definitely gotta review that next time we link up. Have you listened to it yet?
Oh yeah. I started listening to it, and so far from what I heard, I do enjoy it, to be honest. So, but like I said, by the time we get to that, I'll be done listening to the whole thing, so I can give you what I really think about it. My honest opinion. I'm always come correct.
Yeah, man. I gotta put it on. I gotta put it on like a radio or something like that. I was playing it from like my Amazon Echo, so I didn't really have no like real heavy beats or anything like that to it. So I want to see how it sounded in like a system or something like that. But I wanted to just play it from Amazon so I could actually just focus on the lyrics and really get a feel for what he actually spitting about. Yeah. But I'm trying to put on like the heavy hitters later on, man, and kind of really vibe to it a little bit. But yeah, man, from like the first 1 through 5, like those first 5 songs, man, he's just killing it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's what got me really like. I always did music, but when I heard Nas, like that's what I knew I wanted to do, man.
So when you first heard,
I knew I had to be a part of the hip hop community.
What was your first Nas album?
I heard Nas, and then my brother bought the album home, and
I said, what was your first Nas album that you heard?
Yeah, the Illmatic.
And you said your brother actually brought it home.
Man. Yeah, because my brothers and my parents, they were like, that's when albums were coming out every Tuesday. So every Tuesday, I'm riding with them, as a little kid going to top albums. Like my parents buying albums, my brothers buying albums. So it's always music around. And, we grew up in the country around the liquor house. I was just everything. It was everywhere. It was, people have stories based around certain songs they heard,
Right.
So I was just captivated, man. Right.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Definitely. And that's basically how you started your music career at that point.
I'm surprised they ain't got you on the list, man.
No, man. No, I ain't putting enough work in, man.
I'm surprised they ain't got you on that list, man.
I said I haven't put in enough work yet, man.
Joe, man.
No, man, don't get that guy spitting on me like that.
Just some little boys. I know, right?
No, man, but I want to try to get back into like doing a little bit of music, man. So I'm going full-fledged studio next month, man. We're gonna try to get that equipment. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna see what I got left in me, man. I'm gonna try a few songs out, man, and kind of see how it go. But I'm really switching over to the production side. So, Los, I'm really looking forward for us to, man, start getting these beats and really start getting some of this sound together, man, and try to get something going here these next few months. I'm really excited about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, that's the plan, man. You know.
So you've been linking up with some of your.
36 minutes. You know.
You've been linking up with some of your other producers these last couple of days. I know you were talking about trying to get back in the studio yourself, man, and try to get some things going. So, what's your game plan, man, the next 2 weeks? You try to put something down on tracks, or you just gonna try to do some production?
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna put something down. You know, I'm back with like the two producers, man. I always dealt with, and everybody got the same vibe, same energy, and I mean, I'm about to just drop some albums, man, do some collabs. So yeah, be on the lookout for them. It's coming.
That's
Starting this week.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What time you trying to link up, man? This weekend? You trying to link up like Saturday night, or you want me to come through Sunday?
Shit, man. Man. Saturday, man. We're gonna get it going, man. We got some big things in store, man.
Yeah, so I assume you want me to come Saturday night so we can go to the strip club then, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. We gotta get the fans what they missing, man. Podcast, the big thing, man. So we gotta keep feeding what they want, man. We love the fans.
Yeah, man. I can't mess with strip club. Man. Y'all roll too big for me.
Oh no, you right there with.
All right, well, Low Speed Man again, man. I just wanted to check in with you, man. I just wanted to talk to somebody about what was going on. So I ain't really had nobody to talk to in the studio tonight. So I said, let me hit you up, man, see what you had to say about that list. But we definitely going to talk a little bit more about that Sunday, man. I want to get in deep with that with some of the fellas, man, and try to actually come up with their own top 10, top 20 list, man, and see how it compares to each other.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I probably bring some special guests with me too. So we get a variety of opinions. So yeah, definitely, I look forward to it, brother.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good conversations, Los, man. So I know you're a busy man. I know you got things to do tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. And like I said, I'll get with you Sunday, and we'll rock and roll. All right.
All right, that's what's up, my man.
All right, be easy, brother.
For the rest of the show, my dude.
I will.
All right.
Hello, wait. What voice will try to connect you?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Cleveland Rhodes? How's it going?
I'm doing good. How things going for you?
Doing pretty good, Cleveland. Doing pretty good, man. Now, again, I want to welcome you to the Dramatic Show podcast. And again, for all my listeners, this is, again, Cleveland Rhodes. He's the CEO of Cross Media Network. He's going to be telling you guys how to start your internet radio station and the best way to get that started and to promote that as best deemed possible. So, Cleveland, welcome to the show, man. I know it's been a few months since the last time we talked. What you been up to?
Oh, man. Let's just say I'm doing a lot of projects. There's a lot of things I've been doing. Just consistently busy, but the best thing to do is to continue to be busy. What I do, I always, stay focused. I always have this, tendency to do things I need to do to get things up and running. But mainly, when you run 3 networks and things of that nature, you have to stay consistent. So that's the good thing about doing what I do. So I keep busy, but I love to do what I do.
I know that's right, man. How long have you been in internet radio?
Oh my God. How long has I been doing internet radio? Okay, let's just say that I touched internet radio in 2004. So that tell you that's been years ago. So I did as a project. when I was going to college at the time, and nobody else was. How I found out about it was funny. It was through a sitcom that was on television, and when I saw the person who was doing it struck the core. I said, well, I never even heard of it before. When I come to find out more about it, it's been done for almost nearly 10 years. So it was like, wait a minute. And I was in high school when this was going on, so it was really, really unique. But what happened was when I started to play around with and learn how to do it and how to make up my own internet radio station, I just caught that bug, and I've been playing with it ever since. But I really, really got big into it is in 2016. And when I got big into everything else, I knew what I love to do is doing internet radio. It was a very remarkable experience. So I just tell people all the time, if you're going to do this, make sure you have a commitment to do it. So that's the really great thing about it.
Do you feel like people have to be patient with this? It's not a overnight success type thing?
Yeah. The thing is that a lot of people have to be patient because a lot of people think when you say you're going to start in that radio station, they think that it's going to hit everything. No, that's a lot of people believe in. That's a lie. I'm going to just call it what it is. It really takes time, and one of the biggest things you got to do, you got to have lots of patience. One of the big things when I first started doing internet radio, I remember when I tried to get out there, people thought I was crazy. Literally, I mean, people said, "What is this? What is this thing here?" And when I realized, when I told them what it was, they really didn't believe it. So they can't put radio and internet together. That was one thing. Then when you try to explain to people what that looks like, one thing they think you're very smart. Then when you try to get the dynamics about it, they just said you're crazy. Then after you tell them the whole shebang about it, they said, nah, deal with it until you start to see the popularity about it. Then once the people see the popularity about everything else, that's when people think, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But when people hear you have a station, they think you got a lot of money. They think that you built this thing, you made a lot of money, you wanted the lottery or something like that to get this. But no, you got to have patience. And that's one of the key elements to do internet radio. Patience, endurance, and commitment. If you have all these together, you pretty much could have a successful radio station.
Okay, so you say you actually started getting serious with it, around 2016? Is that right?
Yeah. And how I started is kind of funny. I've been doing internet radio for a while. I just helping other people get their stuff going. I know I help a local church get online so they could broadcast their sermons. Even I tried to do it and I failed miserably because I didn't have that patience. But see, I had to learn that. And when you learn by trial and error, you said, well, I need to go ahead and do this. And thanks to my wife, my wife pretty much, said, you need to go ahead and put this out there, make it happen. And, because, this is something that's in you that you love to do. So, make a long story short, now I just, wow. I mean, it's been 3 years, success rate on one network because it started with one station and blew up to many stations. Then we ended up making another network, which is called Mike Johnson Radio, and it blew up from there. Then, of course, God's Powerful Radio, it blew up from there. So it's three radios we built. And with all that, because I love doing it, we helping people around the country and around the world. And that's what it just started from there. It just started to become big and huge. But it was not the thing that makes it so big and huge that's really successful. What makes it successful was that the patience, the endurance, the commitment, and your love for it. Because, you got to have some kind of love to do this. Because a lot of people say, I want to do radio. but how to get started, how to get it done, how to make it happen. Then when you start to tell the dynamics about it, they start to fear it because they don't take the time to know the commitment, the endurance, the patience, and the commitment. You got to have all those things going for you to start internet radio station.
Okay, I got you. So let me ask you this. Why start an internet radio station in 2019? Why would anyone want to start an internet radio station at this point?
Oh, man. Well, why not? Well, for a couple of reasons. And I'll give you two scenarios. Well, think about it. Just for the technology that we for is the kind of technology we have now. And I'm going to tell you the main reason why. The technology they would have now is paramount to what it was in 2004 when I got the bug on it. What I really was that if you look at it, now is the perfect time. Because if you look at how technology has integrated, grow, and how it matured, become what it is now, to start station. But a lot of people want to say, yeah, I'd love to have a station. I would love to do that. Then it's great. It's great right now. But you got to have a plan. And I always tell people, you got to have a plan for at the second point. The second 2019, as of now, is that it's so many niches and stuff you could create to start an internet radio station. Some people think that, well, what is my niche? Well, it all depends on you as a person. Because a lot of people out here would think that I want to do hip hop, R&B, or jazz, or different other kinds of stuff. Or you want to do talk or Christian, whatever you want to do. But if you gotta have you got to be who you are as a person. So, if you want to help the community out, this is the perfect time because this is what communities need. They need an internet radio station that will drive them to what they need to be.
Okay. And I guess price-wise, man, a lot of people, pretty sure they want to know how much it actually costs to actually start an internet radio station. What do you think the starting price is to basically start an internet radio station?
Depends on, and that's a great question. I get this a lot with a lot of people who come to me and ask me, how much does it cost to start an internet radio station? And it depends on what are you looking for? What are you a commitment to do? And I always tell people is the cost is not the money. It's the cost of what you're going to put into it for yourself. And what I mean is that if you're going to dedicate yourself into doing radio, you have to understand the parameters of what it costs to do it. For instance, there are a lot of people go online, they can find to start your internet station for free, but they don't know if you need to get certain equipment, certain kinds of websites, certain kinds of different kinds of, devices, you name it, will start a radio station. And sometimes people think, okay, I can get a old computer and run it. That's not always the case either, because that computer could go down. Well, what about a cloud server? Well, it depends. Some cloud servers are, you can go to get a cloud server for a certain price, but how much it costs for add this, and what about bandwidth? And you got all these parameters that you're looking for. But another thing, a lot of people say, well, I found this one place that I can get for free. They got all the stuff you need, everything else, but you got to dedicate into that. So when it comes to cost, you got to look at what you are looking for. Because I can tell you, one cost could lead to, being free to being like $13,000, $15,000, $16,000. Depends on what you are looking for. Some people want to go and have a building, have all the equipment, computers, you name it, get a full-fledged, big line internet radio station going. But even with that, it'll cost about the building, the more, you name it. It'll cost money for the utilities. And that, if you want a 24-hour radio station, you got to count the cost of what you're going to look for. So I would say plan to to start small because sometimes, you know, if you start small, you grow into the business. And when you grow into the business, you become much more of what the business requires. So, like for us, we became this big because we grew into it because we started small from nothing because my background's in IT, but even with that background, I still did not know everything on radio until I had to learn the ifs, ands, buts about it. And once I learned that, that's when my background training and all of that comes to play. But also, I had to get help from other people. That's to get mentors and others to come along and help you as well. And sometimes you gotta know who the right mentor is. Because I got this one guy who's been doing radio for almost near 16 years, internet radio, and he knows radio. And when you ask him questions about how this go, and I've been knowing him for a long time, he showed me how to do radio, and they launched us to become a successful radio network. So with that said, the cost is always look at what are you looking for as the start. But I always tell people start small because the small is because think about it, you don't want to be so big because the bigger you are very very stagnant. But that's okay. That's the nature of the business. But if you are small, you more mobile. You could be able to mobilize your station to become anything you want it to be. You don't have to worry about compliments or people coming in to try to nitpick how you want it to be as a station to do. And even us with Mark Johnson and other radio networks we do have those freedoms to do that. But that you so big at jump. It's so large to get into. So I said start small. And once you start small, just grow. And once you grow, you can see if you are making money. If you're not, you got to go back and see why you're not. So that's what I always tell people to do.
What type of equipment do you need to start an internet radio station?
Well, that's an excellent question. Depends on what are you going to do with your internet station. Like, for instance, when we started the Resilient Christian Radio Network, our first internet radio network, we started a station. What we did was we did things from the computer. We had software. I always said to go look for that is cheap or free. And I say that it's because you want to be able to know what are you going to be tinkering with. And always use YouTube. And people think, okay, so you go online, yeah, you use YouTube religiously. When I mean by using YouTube, I'm talking about use it to learn what you're going to be getting, like equipment. Some people thinking about getting a computer. That's the first thing you should do if you want to start an internet radio station. But make sure that the computer you're using is going to be very, very equipped to do the job. Now, are you going to do a radio station that's going to be 24 hours a day, 7 days out of the week, or you will do it for certain times of the day? Now, a lot of people don't think of those terms, but when you start a radio station, you want to be able to capture a certain type of audience as well. So what I always say is if you want to do a radio station, you always want to do something with the nice equipment like the computer first, and after you do a computer, you always want to make sure you have the type of software that would do the job. Now, a lot of people always go with Shoutcast, Icecast, or whatever, and they looking for different platforms that would give you a encoder or play or things like that that can go ahead and broadcast for free. But with those things, you got to make sure that your computer is up to the task to run on a 24-hour format. So you got to have that automation software, radio automation software that will be able to acquire that. And it's different ones out here like the go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, which ones do you recommend? But it looks like you're already about to jump into that. So what do you recommend?
Well, I was going to recommend like Radio DJ. One's one, but also you got Play It Live. Play It Live is a pretty good one. Then you also got big boys like, and a lot of people don't even think about it. You got Radio Boss. You also have Sam Broadcaster. And, those are pretty good ones. I don't know. Sound broadcaster is the Cadillac of internet radio, if you want to say the mean. But if you really, really are like a technical or very, very tech savvy, I would start with the free stuff and tweak it. And usually what I mean is tweak it is that it's so many people that go online, especially YouTube, and they figure out how to tweak it so it can become their station. See, a lot of people don't know what's behind the firewall when you do internet radio. They think it that they see the out thing where they see the player and they click on it and listen to whatever the content is coming out. But the firewall is the people who take the time and make that station go live. Once that happens, you got your encoders, which is the different places like listen to myradio.com, or you could go to my radio station.com, and places like that you be able to get free encoders that you can play 24 hours a day, 7 days out of the week. So it's a lot of places you can go to start, but make sure you do your homework, research first. That's the first thing I let people know. Research first before you jump in and get all this stuff that you got to pay for it. You don't even use it. That's one of my biggest mistakes I did when I first started radio.
What do you mean?
I started getting all this stuff and I don't use it.
Like, what were some of the things that you were getting and that you never used?
Oh, man. I remember the first time when I first started, I did Winamp the first time. And when I did Winamp, I was fine. I was fine with it at first. Then other people started talking about different other players, like I came Live 365. And I remember I tried Live 365. It has everything I needed. I mean, literally everything I needed that I thought was start a radio, but it was on someone else's platform. But with that, I had to pay per month. And it cost me a lot of money. It cost me almost nearly $300 to $400 a year to do my internet radio station from the first time. This is in 2005. And I kid not, it was expensive, but of course, Live 365 went off play for a while. Then there's a lot of places you could get. Go online. You can find things like Tutovia Cast, and it's Tutovia Cast. There's so many others out there, but at radio.co. But mainly Tutovia Cast, you go in, you can find the cheapest one to do some Tutovia. And I was like, okay, this is great, but it's still costing me money. So I had to find a way for me to do it for free for a while until I started making money. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, how do you make money doing this? Which that's probably your next question, probably. So that's when you have to realize you got to count the costs of the research and know who the people you're trying to attract to get to your radio station.
Okay, all right. And like I said, that's basically what I was going to get into next. How much money is in internet radio these days?
Wow, depends. Well, I know for a fact with us, we are pretty well put. Just call it like that. Our biggest advertisers is usually people we are attracted to different platforms. Like, for instance, like my genre radio, we attracted a lot of through different cities and major cities across the country. And a lot of it used to be the people within the city that are looking for a niche radio station. And a lot of people don't know what that means, but let me explain what that means. A niche radio station is a station that really caters to a certain people that are willing to listen and pay for products. And people are like, oh, so you're saying that you got commercials? Yeah, of course. But with those commercials, it's advertisers, people who put money into their advertising, and we play it out for them. And that we play it at different times and different different sets and what they want to play on for a radio station to grow. But to make the money, you got to know who the people you try to attract. For instance, I'll give you an example. Just like we were talking about my genre, we got one station in, let's say, in Birmingham, Alabama. Well, they like that sudden rap music, right? But see, you got a lot of different kinds of old school hip hop back on with the different clubs and different things going on in Birmingham, Alabama. Well, the person who lives in Birmingham who loves to listen to their station in Birmingham, Alabama, what we do is what they do, they contact us and we negotiate what they wanted to put on there to attract those people to this club or wherever the case will be. So what we do is we always try to fit a role with the client to really get them to understand their station in that area. That's one thing unique about the niche radio is that if you try to cater to particular people in that particular place in the United States. And with that said, that's how we make money. There's also another way we make money. We also give people time slots who want to be on the radio. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people think that's kind of weird, but if you're thinking about it, it makes sense. If you go to a local radio station in your local area, if you ask any DJ who really is not affiliated to that station, they always tell you that they have to pay for their time slot to be on the air to get people to come and do their thing with them. Why? Well, because that's how the radio station really makes money to have those time slots for that particular audience they try to attract. So what we do give people time slots. At each time slot, they do pay a certain fee per month to be able to do their own thing on the radio. And we give them that kind of freedom to do that because that right there gives that niche of people that he or she try to attract, and they help our radio stations to grow to get more advertisers and more clients to be part of our radio network. So that's what we do. Now, for anyone who wants to start out, I give a couple of advice. If you want to do it that way, the best thing to do is to get certain DJs or certain hosts that you want to attract to be on your radio station, which that will be a perfect plan to do. And you got to know how much you want for them to pay for their time slot. That means that you have to show them how to use the equipment, to also show them how to use the station at their time frame. Or if they do podcasts, whatever the case will be, if they want to be syndicated, you charge them to bring distribution to that particular radio station for people to be able to listen to them. So that's how you can make money do radio, especially internet radio. And a lot of the brick and mortar radio stations do that as well because they see as them making more money. So also you could charge people doing, let's say for instance, like live remote broadcasting. You know, you could go to a certain event or something like that. They invite you there to do live broadcast to that particular radio station. That's what we do as well. And also you could get people who want to do a live event. You know, like a live event through your radio station that you have a certain time slot they just want to do a live event at, and they could be able to use that time slot to broadcast at that live event on your radio station, which they will pay for that slot for that live event. So there's so many ways you can make money to internet radio that people don't think about. But once you start to write down and research how to do it, you can see the potential there for you to generate a good wealth income through internet radio.
Do you run your own servers or do you actually use a third-party server?
I've got both. I do both, and I'm gonna tell you why I do both. I do run my own servers, and the main reason I do my own server is because it's easy to manage, and you understand what's going on with your server. You know how you're gonna act, how to run, how to do this, how to do that, and you know the time to do maintenance and everything. So what I do, for all the networks that we run all of them with its own two-way servers. One is our own and also with third parties. And the main reason why we do that is because we see it, if something happens to our main server, the other server will back it up real quickly. And what we do is that the main servers that we got that we are on our own is in the cloud. And what we do is we manage those. But the ones that is connected, that's our third party, is usually the third party server that is not in the cloud. that means it's coming from a data center that is connected to us as well. So if something happens to our cloud server, the other server will kick in. So we do manage those. And the main reason why we do that is because we look at security is one. Secondly, if we look at if we want to keep our stations going. And if we don't keep our stations going, we got some issues that we need to resolve, and we need to resolve quickly. But with that said, we want to be able to take that into consideration, and we also know how we want to, formulate our network. So that's how we do all that. But I always tell people this too: if you want to do that, if you want to have your own server, you have to know what you're asking for. A cloud or a standalone, which one you want. And a lot of times, a lot of people say, well, I want to go ahead and do a standalone. It's easy. Well, you got another component that you're going to put into that particular standalone, which is your physical model. If you do a cloud, you got to know how much you can acquire for CPU to also the bandwidth. But sometimes you got to know what particular service is out there that will allow you to do something that you could jump in and do it for yourself.
Okay, cool. Another question, going to the type of music that you want to play. A lot of people, they want to know, like, does it require any type of licensing to play specific type of music, whether they do independent music or if they actually do commercial music? Is there any type of licensing fees or anything like that they need to be aware of before they actually start playing music?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I always tell people, if you're going to do commercial music, like the ones that the big distributor companies run on, I always tell them to have a license behind that. And two reasons why is because you don't want to get hammered or go to court for copyright infringement, or also you not paying royalties to the artist or the music company that is under. So I always tell people to go ahead and get licensing, which I always suggest to go to SoundForge. And SoundForge is a pretty good company that you can get licensing from that will be able to make sure you can play commercial music. But if you want to do independent music, it usually depends on the artist, because some artists are independent on sound, and usually they will give you the music for free. So you don't have to really pay for it, because they want people to know they are out there. So independent artists is a very, very good, good place to start first. And me personally, that's where I started with my genre. I went to an independent artist, and they came to us and they said, "Can you see our music?" And what we do is, yeah, of course, we play for free, and we give them props. But with their props, it comes with them get recognition, because they let people know about the station or the network that the music is playing from, and that's how they get recognition as well. Like, I got this one guy, a manager of this one particular independent artist called Gentry Cozier, and the guy could play. He's a great songwriter. And make a long story short, we promote his music so much that now he is one of the top leading independent artists in the country. He's with MC Hammer, for crying out loud. So that proves that you can be able to get this person a niche they need to get out there. But also, too, with independent artists, you can be able to negotiate, okay, if you give me your music, I can play it, and you just promote us. And that right there will help you and the artist grow. But do commercial music like Beyonce, Jay-Z, or anybody else, you have to make sure you have licensing, and SoundForge is the best choice, which you do it every year. You pay almost $100 a year to play music for these commercial artists. So the royalties go directly back to the music companies, distribution companies, so you don't have to get hammered with that.
Okay.
Now,
so
there's another way you can go around it.
Again, going back to
Okay, go
that
ahead.
name of, what was it again? SoundForge, you said?
Yeah, SoundForge, right. And no, Sound Exchange. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Sound Exchange. Yeah, it's Sound Exchange. I think about SoundForge for a product. I'm so sorry, but it's Sound Exchange. Sound Exchange is the place that you can go get licensing.
Okay,
Mhm,
they're
absolutely.
charging.
And
You said they're
Sound
charging
Exchange-
about $100 a year, or is that monthly?
That's a year. That's $100 a year. And the main reason why it's $100 a year with that, it depends on your station. It's a small radio station. It's $100 a year. Now us, it's over 1,000. I mean, because we are a huge radio network. We got many radio stations that we cater to.
Okay,
But
so for
if you are a small radio,
all right, and Stars,
Mhm.
cut you off for a second, Cleveland.
Right.
So for each station that you have, you actually have to buy a specific Sound Exchange membership for each station. You just can't buy one Sound Exchange membership and pay that $100 a month and then use that for 10 or 15 different stations. You actually have to buy one for each.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because that right there, if you do it that way, they monitor that, and they do monitor those parameters. But like I tell people all the time, start small and grow. And it's another way you could be under someone for 5 years, and this is something I don't know. It's called Creative Commons. Creative Commons will allow you to go through them for 5 years, right? To be able, you pay $100 total with them. What they do is they give you a licensing to be Creative Commons. You can play commercialized music like a Jay-Z or Beyonce, because Jay-Z and Beyonce belongs to their own, platform. So you can use that as an advantage, but make sure that you get the stipulations. You got to pay $100 a year through Creative Commons, and not a year. I'm sorry, not $100 a year. One time fee $100. And what they do is they will get you the licensing for 5 years to be able to play commercialized music. That's the only way you could do that. But in that licensing, you don't have to really show that you are under Creative Commons. All you have to do is just show them your licensing through email, whatever the case will be, and Creative Commons will back you up. But that's the two ways you could be able to do that is go to Sound Exchange and go to Creative Commons. Now, some people think, well, why Creative Commons? Because Creative Commons, you got independent artists, great artists, and commercial artists that come to those means to be able to bring their music up. So you can use those avenues to be able to, play music through those means. But I would always tell people, if you want to do that music, stick with research, because the main thing you want to do, you don't want to play music that have no licensing, and you will get deemed by someone, and they will make you pay a lot of money for playing their music without their permission. I've seen that happen in so many places, man. It's crazy.
What's the penalty for that, man? What do you usually have to pay when they find out that you're actually paying?
I've seen people who even download music, right? That will, literally pay up to nearly $10,000 to $1 million, literally. And I've seen this. And I remember in 2006, this happened. That it was really, really, really bad at that time. That the music industry marched for that radio station because they did not get their cut of the royalties. So when that happened, a lot of the radio stations, internet radio stations, went out of business. But when the song that came back, what they happened was they did not deal with any kind of commercial music, which now some of the artists got upset with because now their music's not getting played, so they don't know what to do. So it was kind of like crazy at the time when it happened. But I know one particular case that one radio station was well known. It was in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. That it was being almost nearly $51 million. $51 million.
I'm sorry, you said 51 million?
Because they're playing $51 million. Yeah. And the thing was, the judge reduced it to $4 million. Because literally $51 million because they were playing music that belongs to certain artists 24 hours a day, 7 days out of the week. And that's where they was looking at the time frame, how long he'd be on the air to the time that they put him out of business. But with that said, that tells you that you got to be careful who you play. So, like, we play different artists. We play old school music. And a lot of music they would play, a lot of the artists that would play, we get permission from the person who owns the distribution and the catalogs of that particular artist that we are looking for a cater to. And usually they give us that permission for us to play that meet out all the legal parameters. Like Marvin Gaye, we went to the we called that company that owns Marvin Gaye Music, and they said, well, since a lot of people don't listen to Marvin Gaye or listen to YouTube or places like that, they let us play his music and Tenor Pendergrass or Earth, Wind, Fire, and the list goes on. That's where we go and negotiate with the distribution company who owns the catalog of those music genres. Enough said with that is that you got to know who to talk to. You got to research. Okay, we got a niche. We want to play old school music. Well, we need to go to this place to talk to these people and be able to see if we can get permission to do it. If they say we have to pay a fee, we pay that fee with them. And you can do it that way as well. So it's a lot of ways like millions and millions of dollars. But be careful because some people say, okay, you can do it. Then next thing you know, you play it. Then they go and try and file a lawsuit. That happens too. So do your research, be careful, and make sure you have a backing that will back you up when you play commercial music.
Okay, so for somebody that does not have the finances to actually pay for the commercial licensee for commercial music, and they want to basically just start off independent, what are some of the places that they can go to actually start building their library of independent music? What places can they go to try to get some songs?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Well, 9 times out of 10, I will always go to different platforms, several of them, and it's so many online. I can give you a list of them. I know one of them is called Django, and so that Django is a pretty good place for independent artists. You could go to the place called NoForge, and NoForge is a website a lot of independent artists is located at. They want to get music out there. They put things for free, and when they put it for free and things like that, they want people to listen to it. So if you contact the artists and everything else, they will let you play their music for free, and you can build certain artists, platform and playlists, and you can put it on there for free. Just let them know their music is playing on your radio station. Once you let them know about it, they will promote you. So I would Google it, look for independent artists all over the internet. You go to these places, sign up for it, to say that you are a internet radio station that is started and you want to promote their music. They will be glad to do it. And trust me, they would. They will say, oh, yeah, no problem. And when you go there, make sure that you have a communication repertoire with the people, because the communication factor is very key for people to understand what your station is about, why you play their music. And once they promote people, they could bring traffic to your radio station. So I would say to go research, type up independent artists, platforms, or different other places that the people upload their music at, and go from there. Because once you do that, you could be able to generate a whole lot more people in so many places that their music never was heard of until now. So I would say do that, build that up, and once you build it up, just have that good communication with that independent artist. And like I said, that's the cheapest and the best way to don't have to spend so much money to have to worry about commercial music. Because I believe that once you talk to the artists themselves, they will love to have someone support them. And that's what it's about when it comes to internet radio, is to get them independent artist name out there. And once you do that, the commercial artists will look a little bit smaller, but they start to understand that, you know what, let me go and get their music out there too. That happened several times for us. We had what's that guy? I can't even think of it. I can't even think of the person's name offhand, but he's a well-known artist, and he called us up to play his music on our radio network. I just can't think of the guy's name because that's what you get when you're so busy like that. Sorry, but that's
No,
like,
you're good, man.
you have so many people that, you have so many people that you can cater to, and you can reach a lot more people if you deal with independent artists.
Speaking of which, how many listeners are you getting monthly with your internet radio network? How many listeners are you bringing in?
Oh, wow, that's a question. The whole network right now, we get at least monthly, get almost nearly 1 million listeners.
No.
And because we got so many radio stations, and how we do it, because we got niche. Now, we play a lot. Right now, we're playing old school music. And we talk about old school music like Teddy Pendergrass, Isaac Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Franklin Beverly and Mays, people like that. People like, who is these guys? Younger individuals listen to that, like, oh man, this is great. And they tell their friends about it. And they tell other friends about it. Then some of those people tell other people about it. And they got different stations all across the country. And that's how we get up to so many people onto our servers and listen to those stations in a 24-hour format. At 9 o'clock hour, my time, we will go to the smooth jazz at night, which is why listeners listen to that smooth jazz that will bring people up to par. It's why those love that music. So we cater to that as well. We get so many people listen to it all the way through the night, and just got different kinds of playlists that we play during the day to cater to that, including the weekend. So it's a lot of people listening in on a 24-hour format, about 2.5 million listeners per month. And that's really good because when we started my genre, we started in 2017. And it grew because we said we wanted to play the genres that nobody ever heard years ago. And we played those kind of genres, and people asked certain genres, and we got them, and there we go. And once we did it, we did different mixes, we did different playlists. We had certain people who got their own shows on my genre radio network, and also RCR, and also at we got so many people in the active duty radio network that do get so many listeners all across America and also all over the world. So we get a lot of people through our platform each and every single day. And we can be able to carry them and just call it what it is. But now it's the technology, the way we get people, the listeners, and things like that. That's how. And usually we use word of mouth. A lot of other people use the means of Facebook, Instagram, things like that. But I always tell people word of mouth, let people know who they are, let the people check out your website if you have one, and let people know what you're going to be doing with your radio station. And once they know everything about that, you will see listenership grow.
Man, 2 million people. That's really, really impressive, man. For just to be in the game since 2017 to get 2 million listeners a month. Because I'm always going to like certain internet radio stations, and sometimes they'll have their count of how many people are actually listening at the moment. So sometimes it'll just be 5 or 6. And then some people, they're even lucky enough to promote that they get 25 to 30,000 in listeners a month. But man, 2 million a month, that is impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing because I'm gonna tell you something. Humble beginnings, man. Humble beginnings. when we first started, I remember 2 people was great. It was 2 people. I was happy with 2 dedicated people, literally per month. I just call it what it is. Well, when you get 2.5 million listeners, it's a shock therapy. And I just call that because that's really what it is. Because when you get that, people say, "How you do that?" And nobody don't really know who you are. Well, because word of mouth. And when the people recognize us through the stations that we own, not particularly on the radio network. And when people hear about the radio network, that's how we get all those numbers like that. Because there used to be stations that connected people. Think about it. On my jungle, we got over 100 some radio stations across the country. And that right there is a number itself. That's a feat on its own. So what we did was that we just promoted through that particular city and let the people know this is your radio station. And they were like, it is. And that's when they let other people know about it. Then they listen to it. And even if that station gets about 10, 20, 30 people in about a few hours, then it started to grow. And you get up to 20, 30,000 people in one day onto that one station. And this is the city we're talking about here. So we're talking about people in a different niche, different climate, different people, word of mouth, let people know about the stations that belong to them. That's how you get people to listen to your network. And that's how so many people come on there and be able to interact with the station because they know, hey, I want to listen to that particular old school song from this particular artist back in the day. And you got a DJ from that particular station at that city will be able to play it for them. So there's a lot of things that we cater to help the community, to get the people to know that this station is for you, and we'll be able to utilize that for them. So there's a lot of ways that we get so many numbers like that each and every day, every month. So that's why it's no surprise to me. And that's why when you put this out here, you know your niche. You know the people you cater to. So that's what I tell people. Know your niche, start small, and grow like a crock pot. This December, grow, and enjoy the ride because you will enjoy it at the end of the table. I promise you that.
Man, that's really impressive. So the fact that you got so many listeners a month, which brings me to my next question. Have you ever thought about just going from internet radio to actually having an FM station? Have you ever thought about that?
It did. And I'm going to tell you why I think about it a lot. Now, I just talked to a friend of mine who owns several stations himself. And we talk about this extensively because somebody asked me this question today. And you asked me this question. That's a great question about me. Am I going to go to terrestrial radio? I say yes and no. Yes, I do think about it. No, I don't want to pay a lot of licensing. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why behind my madness, if you want to call it that. The main reason why I do think about it because there's so many people who use the radio in their vehicles. And some people are not tech savvy, and some people are not ingrained like what a lot of people do when it comes to internet radio. So you want to cater to that market of people. But in the same time, we look at what we have to deal with. FM radio, excuse me, is great, to have, but you got to think about it. Now we're dealing with FCC. And me personally, I don't want to deal with the FCC. And because the internet gives me freedom to do radio the way it should be done. But with FCC, you got to deal with rules and regulations. And those rules, you got to have licensing, you got to go through the rules, you got to be able to pay for your license, your everything for FCC radio station, which that belongs to the FCC now. So what we do with that is a great thing to have if you want to carry another type of audience. But in the same time, look at the technology. Now, one of my friends said that will FM go obsolete? Absolutely not. It will never go obsolete, or it never will stop. It's just that the transition from going to an internet radio station to an FM radio station, it could do twofold if you deal with both internet and testosterone. Let me explain what I'm talking about.
What do you think?
That stays digital.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, Cleveland.
Go ahead.
What do you think is going to be the preference, I guess, in the next 5 years? Do you think it's going to be internet radio, or do you think it's going to be FM AM?
I think it's going to be still. I think internet radio is going to be dominatory, and I'll tell you why. Spotify, you got iTunes, you got all these other platforms. You got the technology is the key, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. And this is my point I was about to say. The technology is changing. Now, it's something my friend made. He made a good point. A lot of the stuff is not going to go away because certain companies will not pay for the stuff that's going on with internet radio. But if you look at it, a lot of the cars that we are driving nowadays, the newer vehicles and things like that, even if you get a radio from any place to install it on your vehicle, it's going to be digital radio, and it's going to have internet capability. And you got Bluetooth that's going to be part of that, because you got the cell phone. You also have the touchscreen radios that are installed on lots of vehicles nowadays. And let's go a little bit further here. Look at our entertainment at home. You got devices that is going to connect to your television. It's pretty much your home entertainment center that you can listen to radio. You can watch TV without even the dare to even get through like cable or using your antenna. You can use internet to go through all that. So you got so many avenues coming up that is really, really, really the niche that is causing the changes with the technology. I think internet radio is going to dominate the market. It's so many radio stations out here that's already catered to the market. The only thing that we have to do is make sure we are in the wave of it. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you don't have an internet radio station, go back to your first question you asked, why start internet station in 2019? Mainly it's because the technology is changing for internet radio to be versatile. If you look at how the technology has curated to internet radio, it makes us very, very fortunate to know that we are part of that wave for internet radio to become something more meaningful than what it is now. Look at Spotify. They got their own platform, and then they try to carry it and kick it into different things like podcasts and things like that. Well, thinking about it, they use those kind of technology to stream your own internet radio station through their platform. So that tells us that owning and running an internet radio station is the vital thing if you want to be part of something. Now, I always tell people, what are you going to do? Now, a lot of people say, I want to own my own station. Well, a lot of people want to go use platforms like Spotify. But if you want to do something that would be unique to you as the person, I always tell them, do it for yourself. Be independent. Because if you be independent, an independent internet radio station, you'll have no one to tell you what to do. You could make all the rules that you want. You can be able to do exactly the niche that you're trying to cater to, and you are in control. So that's why I tell people, it's FM and AM will still be there, but it's not going to be as a various cast like you do when it comes to internet radio. And this is another thing too. Before internet is done, a lot of those FM AM stations are on the internet, so you could go to their website and listen to them as well. So they have the means to go online because they know that a lot of people are changing the way they listen to radio.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Man, it's so much stuff that we can still cover on this phone call, Cleveland. It's so much stuff, man, that we can cover into detail. So I really want to try to maybe possibly get you to come back, man, in probably maybe another month or so, and we can actually do a full series of this. So we can actually just do a series just from start to scratch on how to get started, the type of equipment that you need, the promotional aspect of it, how to get music. What I want to do is just trying to break down basically almost like a seminar and a class, man. And, if your schedule permits, starting maybe next month or sometime later in the fall when you come back, we'll set up a guideline, man, and just do a few episodes, man, how to really break this down and really to get people going with this internet radio station. There's just so much stuff that you can cover, man. And I can keep talking about 2 more hours, and I'm pretty sure that you can also. So if you're cool with that, man, I definitely want to try to, get the listeners to get something going here, man, and we start something that way. So it's up to you. All right, so yeah, Cleveland, man, I definitely want to bring you back, man, so we can possibly do a series. So hopefully the listeners, I'm pretty sure they want you to come back, man, so we can do a more in-depth interview about getting your internet started. If people want to get into contact with you and just ask you a few questions, how can they reach out to you? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, we do. I got a Facebook page. My Facebook page, if you look it up on Facebook, it'll be, actually we got 3 of them. I will give you one. The main thing, you will look up one, my John Radio Network or the Brazil Christian Radio Network or God is Powerful Radio Network. That's on Facebook. On Twitter, you can look us up at rcrnetwork.com or you could go to my Jonah Radio on Twitter and on Twitter or Instagram. You can look for RCR Network or my Jonah Radio Network. If you really want to get a hold of me, you can go ahead and go to our website. You could go to both our websites, which is rcrnetwork.com, or you could go to my Jonah Radio Network, which is myjonahradio.net. So you could go to those 2 places to contact us for any information that you need for the radio networks that we got. So you'll be able to follow us on those platforms as well by go to the website to check us out. Okay.
And for some of my my younger audience who really technically don't even use Facebook anymore, do you have like an Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, anything like that?
Yes, you could go to Instagram and look us up. Just look for RCR Network on Instagram or my Jonah Radio Network on Instagram as well. I don't have Snapchat yet. I'm working on that. I'm after my son is helping me figure out this social media. I'm old, but at the same time, you can be able to check us out on Instagram on like the RCR Network or my Jonah Radio Network Instagram. So you can catch us there.
All right, cool beans, man. Again, to all the listeners, I want to thank you guys for being a part of this show. I want to thank Mr. Cleveland Rhodes. Again, he is the CEO of Cross Media Network. And again, man, I really appreciate you for coming on board to talk to my audience a little bit about the internet radio business and actually how to get started with that. So again, we'll touch bases, man, and we'll talk soon. All right.
No problem. I really appreciate the time.
You've just listened to the Dromedic Show podcast with your host, Dromedic.